Kyle, how are you? Yeah, so tax season is well on its way, and we got a lot of questions here at the Star Group. I partnered up with Kyle Breitzman. He is a tax advisor to kind of answer some of the most common questions. So check out this mini-series I put together with him. Hey, Marco Bricino here. I want to make a quick video with Kyle Breitzman. He is a tax planner. Since we're in full force right now with the tax season, I wanted to have him join me to answer some of the questions that a lot of us have, especially with all the changes going on. Wanted to get some expert advice.
Can't wait. Looking forward to this, Marco.
We keep hearing time and time again how much the tax bill has been changing. What are some of the things that people should know about and how it's going to be impacting them?
I'm glad you brought that up because tax reform is a reality now, and a lot of people are very confused about how it's going to impact their entire lives. The reality is, for most people that I'm meeting, it's positive, and that's the bullet point I think most people should take away from that. And there's many changes to the tax code. I think we should just focus on like 3 or 4 of them that are really relevant to the households that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis. One, I guess first and foremost, tax rates are going lower. Which is great. That means if you're in a 25% tax bracket, now your tax bracket's 22%. If you're in a 15% tax bracket in 2017, 2018, you're going to be in a 12% tax bracket. So all your income's being taxed at a lower level, which is fantastic. However, there's trade-offs. The other aspect of tax reform is that fewer and fewer people are going to be able to itemize their taxes. What happened with the tax code is that the standard deduction has essentially doubled, which makes itemizing more difficult. So what does that mean? Typically when we used to be able to deduct property taxes, mortgage interest, charitable contributions, and that kind of stuff, now it's going to be harder to deduct that. So the reality is we're still able to deduct it, but it's unlikely we're going to beat the new higher standard deduction. So even though personally a lot of people are going to be positively impacted by the doubling of the standard deduction, I feel some of the fallout will be some charities are going to lose out because people are going to lose a financial incentive to make charitable contributions. So some of the bad with the good. Another big aspect of tax reform is that the child tax credit, which is appealing to families with young kids. If you have a child under 17 years old, 2017 and before, you used to get up to a $1,000 credit for each of those children, subject to an income limit. Well, now that credit's doubled to $2,000, and that income limit is substantially higher. So we're finding more and more people with children under 17 will get an increased child tax credit, which is outstanding. And lastly, I'd say for those that are self-employed, are used to getting self-employment tax, which is a bummer. What's nice about the 2018 tax reform going forward is that in addition to your ordinary deductions you'd have in 2017, there's actually a 20%, in addition to that, you have 20% of your income is now added as a deduction. So there's a benefit for sure for those who are self-employed and paying self-employment taxes. So those, I think, are the major things coming down the pipe for tax reform. Most people will become aware of it when they file their taxes next season. So looking forward to educating people about how tax reform helps them. Mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
Now, as a homeowner and as a homeowner's insurance policy owner, what do I need to be aware of as I'm doing improvements or if I ever get around to those projects?
So one of the things that you want to know is let me or your agent know that, hey, you're planning on doing X remodeling done to your house, because different companies have different risk tolerances. Some of them will want to have an endorsement done to it saying hey, if anything were to happen, like a wall collapses or a building actually collapses, depending on how extensive the remodeling is, they want to make sure that the house is properly insured.
Sure.
As well as, let's say you're redoing the kitchen or redoing a bathroom, and now you're changing the countertops material or whatever the case you're doing, you want to make sure that once the job is done, the house is insured for the new replacement value, not the old replacement value. So in case, for example, the house burns down, it is rebuilt with the new material,
right?
Not the material before the job was done.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Awesome, Kyle. So thank you very much for everything. I'll put your contact information in the video. That way you guys can get a hold of him. with any questions that you have. I know I get questions on this on a regular basis just because I personally don't know them, and he's my go-to guy for that kind of stuff. So thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.
This was great. Thank you, Marco.